Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Back again to game number 2 of Abyss taking on TM. And game 1 was well and truly one-sided for Abyss for most of that match.
Yeah, it was, but it took a while for them to close it out. I think that there were hints of areas where TM looked to try and get themselves back in the game. A good last-ditch base defense.
Yeah.
And then the Baron play was kind of a 50-50 in the end. You don't want to give a team that you're 10,000 gold ahead of a 50-50 chance of accessing the most powerful part of the map.
That is true. I will say that other than that one Baron slip-up, I think Abyss played a very good game.
Yep.
Pretty clean around the map. You didn't really see anyone from Abyss getting caught generally. I mean, Rosie did get CC'd a few times, but he never really died.
Yep.
So you got to give props to Abyss for that one. I thought they played pretty well.
We'll have to see how game number 2 changes these two teams, because Abyss, as we mentioned, they've been doing fairly well in the past few weeks, whereas TM, it looked like their shot for their first victory was last week. We're not able to pick it up.
Same bands as game 1, despite the sides. So that's pretty curious. Red side, generally, the bans are dictated for you because of whatever's strong in the meta.
Yep.
But Abyss are saying stuff that we don't care about what's strong. We don't care if you play it. We're worried about these champions.
Yeah, and I think that if they want to play a certain style of League of Legends, they want a little bit more of a split pushing threat for Pabu and being able to join team fights quicker on something, like a Jarvan that shoves up very quickly then can leave. Then it makes a lot of sense because they're just going to play 5v5 anyway. And even if you give up a Maokai, who is probably the strongest jungler on the patch, I mean, Zac is still available, Sejuani's still available. There's lots of champions that do similar jobs. Yeah,
all those champions. It's pretty hard to pick a favorite or the strongest.
Do you have one?
What do I personally prefer? Yeah, I've got one. I'm not sharing.
Okay.
Does it have a Christmas skin? Because we think you're the Christmas
all my favorite
jungler.
champions have Christmas skins. No, look, because I think Gragas is another one. You can look at Maokai, Gragas, Sejuani, Zac. All these champions are very strong right now, and I think they're somewhat interchangeable depending on the comp you're trying to build. Curious that they didn't pick Zac first. I think Only is a very good Zac player. But, they could still pick it. Maokai is a flex to the top lane.
Yep. I mean, this could be one of those double situations where, you take the strong one early and,
Hello, Siva. Welcome back.
Abyss just absolutely do not care about this Caitlyn at all.
Yeah.
And it might just be because it's low, or it might be because they think the nerfs were just that big. But Siva and Xayah, both bad matchups into Kate, both blind picked with Kate still up. So we'll have to see whether TM can punish it this time or whether they change up their bot lane.
No, they hover through 3 very
Hey,
toxic picks.
GBM played Karthus the other day.
Oh,
E United versus Goldcoin United, a legitimate pick.
Ooh.
Strong champ.
Please stay out of the
Lots
meta.
damage. I love Karthus,
Stay out.
but also Karthus is so awful. But also I love it.
It is going to be.
when Red Buff applied on spells for that brief moment in patches and
And you
everyone
could
was running
jungle
around
in.
on jungle Karthus?
Yes.
That was a good time to be a part of League of Legends.
Yes, it was.
It was not.
You know what that was season 2. I was a Pantheon jungle main.
Oh, yeah?
1900 elo, which was platinum back then in NA. 200 ping Pantheon running at you. Apply red buff with a spear, and follow up with the stun. One shot.
I'm
dead.
still a Pantheon
Yeah, I
jungle
was
main.
about
I
to
don't know what you're
say,
talking
you're
about.
standing next to the...
Your Pant jungle main?
Yeah, Pan jungle
yeah,
main.
shit now though.
You take that back. A few other picks of TM are going to be Kalista as well as Galio. We have another Janna game paired up with the Siva.
Gotta wonder where this Galio's going. Could be mid again. I did like it in the draft last game as the mid. Good into Syndra, but this time Abyss haven't blind picked their mid. And so I think it's a lot more likely that this is going to go to the support. I imagine that Kalista, I haven't seen it before, but I imagine Kalista Galio is a pretty good lane.
Yeah.
Throw Galio in there. He gets the damage reduction with the taunt, and then follow it up with the rest of his combo. Yeah, Siva Janna, pretty safe. A lot of wave clear.
Not only that, I would like it to go support this game, purely because Luch has shown that you should give him enough respect to put another carry on your team, because he did a very good job of just constantly deleting the Caitlyn last game. So, maybe give Shock a little bit more of a damage threat, or maybe you go all in on trying to keep low alive and you just lock in the Zillion and see how many lives Luch you get through.
I reckon it's a lot.
I have a sneaky suspicion it is as well.
I don't think. I think it would be a mistake for TM to put all their baskets in low again.
All their baskets in low.
And the eggs too.
Yeah, the
And
eggs,
the
as,
eggs
well.
as well.
Eggs with baskets. All of them. I mean, that's a lot of eggs.
That's a respect banner thrown at T. What?
A lot of baskets. Just imagine, like, a lot of baskets all filled with eggs, and they're putting them all on low. One man can't carry that many baskets. Or that many eggs. It's too much responsibility.
I was meant to advance this somehow. I don't know where we're meant to go anymore. Blitzcrank's been banned out against Tegan. That's interesting, right?
I mean, yeah, it certainly is. I mean, because Jana is very squishy in the early
Yeah,
game.
that's true.
Just don't want to die.
That's true.
Especially if you're a Jake Jana and double goal per 10 on runes.
Yeah, I wonder, is that meta? I don't know.
I don't think so.
Is it just Jake?
I think it is just Jake.
It used to be meta.
Yeah,
it
Gorilla
used
was
to
a,
be- it used to
Gorilla
be
was a
meta.
huge fan of gold runes.
Yeah, it used to be meta, but whether it still is.
Because he had a 2,000 gold lead the other day.
Yeah.
Where they were already
Jake did?
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to do it in solo queue.
He had more gold
but then
than
I also
anyone on the
built
other
Mage
team.
On
Eyes and
jungle.
Decap. No, Janna.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, Mage Eyes, Decap, Janna. Only way to play
So
it.
like gold Quince just running around. Like everyone else is running movement speed. You're really running the real gold per 10.
Making that dosh.
The first pick for Abyss is going to be Cassiopeia. So Pabu or Seb
Yeah, okay.
saving their pick for last. Shock's going to be put back onto Oriana, one of his
Cassio.
more comfortable picks.
It's pretty good into Galio.
Yep.
Punishes him pretty hard before he gets the magic resist. So I like the Oriana, putting the Galio in the support. Abyss know that it's no longer a flex now, but I don't think that hurts TM too much because they have the blind pick here anyway.
Once again, I actually like TM's composition. They still have the ability to flex Maokai and Jarvan. Jarvan, if they think, it's a lane that they can win by poking out with Q, and if they don't think they can win the lane, you just put Maokai up there and he nullifies most champions at the moment.
Yep. I'm not sure if Only can play the Jarvan jungle. We haven't seen it before. Yes, this is about to get very interesting because Camille is very good into Jarvan. Maokai will nullify the lane, I believe. I don't play top, but that's what I think.
Well, we've seen Jarvan jungle's been picked up here in the OPL as well as internationally, and they just have not been doing well.
Ultra Troll flex. That's the thing with the jungle top flex nowadays. If you keep, if Praetor and Only were to keep swapping, Pabu wouldn't know what runes to run. Because he'd be like, do I have to run MR? Do I have to not run MR?
We stop you at 30, don't you? Is it 30
Yeah,
or 20?
I think it was 20, but they changed it to 30 for that reason.
Yeah.
But that's something that we've been doing in scrims a lot. Sorry, Swiper. No, look, I like this comp. I like the Galio support with the Maokai jungle. Luch and Raid both have no mobility spells.
Yep.
If Only gets that flash root off, there is a Galio coming, and that carry is going to be knocked up for a long time.
And not only that, I mean, Siv's Spell Shield seems like such a strong ability, but because you still go to her with all your CC,
Yeah.
Maokai has so much follow-up still. I mean, even if you Spell Shield the W, he still gets the Q in. It's an obnoxious knock-up. It's a little bit of a slow. Saplings start jumping out of you. That's a slow as well. He's just overloaded on his kit right now. People, as soon as we give him his clap back on his ultimate, he will once again be the most broken champion in the game, Fish, because he has so much utility.
You know what I reckon? You know what I reckon they missed out on is the ult. Why doesn't he clap when
Before
the ult
the ult?
starts?
Yeah, no, that's what we were saying.
If he did the clap and then the root started going, he would be 10 times better. I don't know why they took that away.
I'm putting it in the design
please.
channel. That is
Formal complaint.
100%. That is a
I
formal
will sign a
complaint.
petition.
Hashtag bring back the clap for Maokai. It's going to be an interesting game, though.
Don't bring back-
Goodness.
Just don't give it to me. I think this is going to be an interesting game because we have two carries that scale incredibly well, but are very mid-ranged in Cassio and Siva versus what is a big team fighting comp. Should be a cracker.
I'll have to see how this game goes. TM currently down a match against Abyss, who picked up game number 1. But for now, let's check in with the coach of TM, Cyclone, who's standing by with Serianne.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Cyclone from TM. TM are at the bottom of the leaderboard, and you've just come out of a Game 1 loss. So how's the team feeling, and how are you as a coach keeping their spirits high?
They're doing pretty well, to be honest. Yeah, we had a couple rough weeks, but they've really picked up their game this week in terms of morale. And we just talk about what we need to be doing for the next game and focus on our strengths and just going, this is how we know how to play the game and just stick to that. And even if we lose, at least we get to learn from it.
Also briefly wanted to talk about the last game. What was the reasoning behind picking Jarvan into Shen in the top lane when both Camille and Fiora were open?
So we just wanted the team fight. So the Camille and Fiora, obviously, we've shown that we're really strong split pushers, but also the meta's moved away from that, and it is really hard to execute that well with people picking tanks and just engaging. So we've decided that we need to move more towards something that reflects what's mathematically best in the game right now.
Well, thanks for talking to us, Cyclone, and best of luck with the series.
Thank you.
Thoughts, gentlemen, on Cyclone's words
Mathematically
there?
best.
Oof.
Haven't heard that before.
I
Got
think
the calculator out.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the spreadsheets. I actually do a lot of spreadsheets on here.
The TI.
Yeah, but in saying that, I think if you're going to say that our spirits are quite high, You should maybe have a
Did
little
not
bit more
seem
emotion
like
in
his
your
spirits.
voice, Carver.
He did not. Maybe the players may be high spirits, but he certainly didn't seem it. Yeah. And as Shock just cops the fangs.
Walks into lane and Luch says, get the heck out.
Yeah, he's popped the corrupting potion just for the burn damage in that trade fish. He is absolutely gone to town. In saying that, this is the part of the lane that Cassiopeia gets to do that for free because she doesn't draw minion aggro.
Yep.
So this is pretty much expected. Shock took the shield to try and weather the storm.
But now Luch is low on mana. He's forced to burn his own corrupting potions for the damage as well as the mana back.
Blue start from the Maokai. Manages to stack the saplings rather. You can see he's already a camp ahead of Gragas. He's about to finish his rates, whereas Gragas is about to start his third camp. So you can see there the value of stacking the saplings, getting the quicker early clear. He's going to be up in XP on Seb. Seb, again, just like last game, he's rushing the level 3, trying to get out on the map as quickly as possible. We'll see whether or not he tries to gank. It's going to be pretty difficult for him now that T-Gun spotted him with a ward.
Are you enjoying the variety in the jungle starts? Because we had a question the other day on the desk about, what is the most optimal jungle start now? And the answer kind of is there is none. I mean, Wraiths were the big start, but now you can pretty much start wherever you want.
I don't think there's ever really been an optimal path. I mean, it changes every game. Wraiths is the best camp to start, and I think that is still the case. Gives you the most amount of XP at level 1, and it is, I think, the most valuable camp outside Krugs.
Yep.
And taking it first means it's going to spawn quicker again, so then you're doubling up on that advantage. But that being said, there are so many different things you can do. And this matchup is not so crash hot for Kratos.
That's a flash from him, and first blood
We
picked
already
up by
called it. I
Pabu.
mean, that's why I thought that the Maokai was going to go top, to be honest, because this has historically not been a great one.
Yeah, and it only gets worse because once Camille is 6 and Jarvan can't EQ out, he is free money for a jungler.
And already Abyss off to a good start, not only in the top lane, but mid lane as well. Shock taking so much harass from this Cassiopeia.
This is not good for Seb at the moment, though, because only he's just cleared all of his jungle, bar the Gromp, and he's just going to base for a Cinderhulk right now, whereas Seb is just kind of walking around in circles in the river, not really accomplishing anything, trying to look for a gank, but he's just completely warded out. He's got no options. Eventually, he's going to have to go back into his jungle and clear it, because he can't base right now. He's got no money.
Power's come back to lane with an extra long sword.
Yeah. So Seb's going to be off the map for a little while, I think. He's not. I don't expect to see him gank for at least a minute, and if he does, I think it's a big mistake. Whereas, okay, only maybe he couldn't afford the Barmies, which would surprise me, but it's possible.
Yep.
He's gone for the green smite, so he's going to go ward out Seb's top side. If Seb loses his second spawn of chickens, he's going to be very behind.
Yeah, well, he's doing what you said he maybe shouldn't do, and that is looking mid lane for a gank. He just shows him vision. Maokai takes chickens real quickly, actually, but won't go for it.
He can't because his Orianna is getting destroyed.
So instead, gonna look top lane fish. This is a cheeky gank. He's in very far behind Pabu.
Yep, no flash on the Camille, but
Big wave already stacked up.
Wave's in a bad spot.
They don't know where he's gone, so they've got to back off from the game. Spotted
Only
out by wards
shows.
too.
And Only's going to head back into his jungle and clear it again.
Strange early game. Really only Pabu putting the screw. I guess Pabu and Luch are the two that are putting the screws in. It's not really giving the jungles that many choice.
Well, the thing is that Only has decided to just hard farm, but his lanes are getting pushed in, which is like a good time to gank. Whereas Seb's lanes are all pushing in, and he should be looking to farm, but instead he's looking for the ganks. But all the lanes are getting pushed in, so kind of both junglers are doing what the other junglers should be doing, which is resulting in this kind of weird mini game where they're kind of walking around and it doesn't really look like they're doing anything.
And, you know, the reason it doesn't really look like they're doing all that much is because I don't think they're doing all that much, Carmen.
No, yes. I guess that's a...
Great analysis, boys.
There we go.
There we go, going for a fight. He's going to get taken out very low. Shock still has
Runs
Ghost.
out of mana.
Luch out of mana.
of mana.
That was a really nice play from Luch. He casts the R first, then flashes forward, of course, extending the range on Cassio. Gives Shock less time. I think it was Claire, your mid laner, that said you should never get hit by a Cassiopeia ult. You should just play with the volume on full whack, and then you can hear the tell before it comes out. So shout out to Brandon. But in saying that, Shock didn't die.
If he ever gets hit by Cassiopeia ult,
I'm going to tell it to turn up his volume.
Volume up.
he's going to get absolutely roasted.
Shock notorious for not basing. Shock will lane with, I'm not kidding, Shock will lane amongst the other mid laners. The consensus is that Shock will lane with 2 bars of health, 1 bar of health with no sums. He'll just stay there and hope you don't punish him, which he hasn't been here. He's managed to shove the wave all the way back to the Cassiopeia and get a base off, even though he had no flash and 1 bar of health. So greedy play by him, but good play because he hasn't been punished.
Yeah, pretty massive deal. But again, we're seeing Abyss's duo lane be shoved in here. This time in a melee range matchup versus double range, which doesn't really happen all that often.
Well, you do have to say, though, that I don't know how many points T-Gun has in his queue, but Galio pretty good with the wave clear for support. So you can see here that while Sivir does push pretty fast with the Janna, Galio pushes quick enough that they're not losing priority.
Yeah.
And slowly, Raid will start to pull this lane back for himself with the help of Janna. But for now, it's definitely going in TM's favor. Abyss still hold on to a small lead for themselves, and only is clearing out the rest of his jungle. He wants to get back to base.
He needs that Barmies. He would be, I mean, he's already pretty far ahead. I think he's very close to 6, and I think Seb is a while away from 6. But if he had Barmies, he would have been 6 already.
And we have a tier pickup for Luch.
No flash on the mid laner. Pabu has ult.
He's coming in. See what he can do. Shock is level 7, though.
Okay, they're waiting for the blue rotation. I think Maokai's going to come give blue. Shock is dead.
But Pabu just forces Shock pops the Ghost, and he's too fast.
I like that. No hesitation on
Straight out.
just popping the Ghost. He knew that he had to use it very quickly, otherwise he was going to die, as you pointed out, and he's able to get out of there with the brown bags as well as the Ghost.
He's weathered the storm pretty well, I think. We saw him cop it pretty hard, level 1 from the E's, and Gragas did a couple drive-bys, didn't really put any pressure on, but walked through the lane a few times, and I think Shock's done a pretty good job.
Flash from Tegan, locks him down. Shockwave used as well. Ultimate from Cassiopeia only connects onto Only, and he picks up the kill on the mid lane.
I mean, that's a massive deal. They use a lot of summoner spells and ultimates, sure, but I think shutting down Cassiopeia, making this big wave hit the turret, not only is it going to, you know, obviously bring it back, but notoriously denying Luch farm has upset him. He has said it himself. And not a great feeling when that happens. You feel like you should be winning your lane, but 3 members show up.
Shock's going to shove another one in here. So that's 2 waves, or maybe even 2.5, because that other wave was quite large that that Luch is going to miss, and that's exactly what Shock needed. I said, when you weather the storm well, and your team is able to capitalize, that's huge, because this lane could have easily blown up.
Luch definitely not happy. Goes back and picks up the Dark Seal for himself.
I like this pickup. This is the swag pickup. This is, you've killed me once, and that is the last time I will die all game. This is a 25, you don't know it yet, but that is a 25 stack Magias fish sitting in his inventory.
Oh, we'll keep track of that one.
We'll see what Shock has to say about that.
TikTok.
Luch Flash is still down for another, I think that looks like 30 seconds or so. Praetor has TP and Flash, and he's playing Jarvan. I think when Orianna ult comes back up, I would not be surprised to see Jarvan roam down there. Especially with the blue on Luch. If Luch loses this blue to Ori and dies again, TM will be in a really good spot.
That is a very deep teleport coming in the Krug pit.
J4 has his as well.
Ultimate comes out from Seb, trying to knock the back, doesn't get it, but Pabu jumps all the way in. Skyfall comes out from Tegan, trying to keep low alive, and he's done so successfully. Now it's going to be Praetor that jumps in on top of Pabu, locking him inside the arena. The rest of Abyss come in, Taunt will come out, Rosie can't get the ultimate off in time, and they're going to try and toss Tegan back into the fight.
Where's he going?
Straight into the wall.
A wall. We'll get one uppercut. Praetor slides on back in, and the Maokai is throwing out the cats. Chase them down, kitty cats.
Wow.
Raid's going to get locked down. Rosie's rooted as well, and Only is still firing away. Shockwave is huge from Shock as he gets one onto Rosie, and this game has turned into an absolute disaster for Abyss.
What a brilliant little play out of the TM Gaming lineup. They're going to grab Seb as well because Praetor has caught up to him. And that is a massive swing. Clean ace for only the Kalista falling down off what was a proactive play from Abyss.
Clicks for TM. Clicks for TM. No, huge play by their bot lane. You guys don't know the reference?
No.
Never mind. Mean Girls. Great movie.
Now I get it.
Huge play by their bot lane. And this bot lane is so hard to kill. Galio has so much CC mobility and damage reduction for the Kalista as well, along with Kalista ult that they didn't even use here. Held their nerve really well. It would have been really easy for Low to just panic and hit R, but the fact that they played so patient and that Abyss still choose to commit, even though all that other stuff, like all their engage failed. I mean, yeah, T-Gun did faceplant there, but we've been criticizing their bot lane a lot, and they really came through here for TM, and it's opened up a I don't know what time it is, but like an 8-minute ace or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And TM are in the driver's seat of this game.
And I mean, that was so close to being a clean ace. I mean, Low nearly got out of Gragas' range there. Seb was only just able to pick him up with what was probably a balmy Cinderburn. And getting the kills over onto Praedyth, getting a couple onto Shock as well now means that these early deficits that went across aren't as impactful. In fact, they're up by 1,700 goldfish and really in the driver's seat now.
They certainly are. Let's see if they can continue to increase their leads at the moment. Abyss, do you have ways to nullify all these advantages?
Let's just take a moment to think about the context of this game, right? It started off with a solo kill in the top lane.
Yep.
Level 1, Shock got absolutely pumped. Only wasn't finding any opportunities. And then out of nowhere, the game has just exploded in TM's favor. You can look at the Orianna's score now, 2-0-2. She's almost on her way to the Morellos. Jarvan is no longer in risk of dying as much. He's caught up. This Maokai has a Giant's Belt. He's super tanky compared to Seb. Tier 2 boots on the Kalista means that she's very unlikely to die to any more ganks. It's completely turned around.
And it was such a strange force coming out from Abyss as well. Nobody was collapsing at the same time. Pabu went in first, and then we saw the ultimate come out from Seb as well, which didn't do too much.
Well, you got to consider that it was a 4v2 dive, and they had a very fed Camille with ult. But they maybe just misjudged how difficult TM's bot lane was to dive. I did that the other week. We tried to dive a Xayah Janna lane, and we got destroyed. I think that was, I can't remember who we were playing versus, but
Navy.
yeah, I think we ended up losing that game as well, off the back of a very poor dive by myself. And sometimes, I mean, it's bad to say, but sometimes you just forget what the other champions, like how good they are at defending. You usually only think about what kind of damage they do.
That's what it looked like. I mean, it looked like no one else could get underneath. Maybe they're used to playing with a little bit more engage, and Rosie's like, no, I'm a Janna. I can't really get under there with you.
Flash forwards to Janna.
Yeah.
The Camille died anyway, which is who he was trying to save, but just, signed his own death line.
TM rotate down to the bottom lane. They're able to take down bottom lane outer. Luch will get some chip damage on the mid lane outer, and TM will probably lose their top lane outer.
Yeah, you can see that straight away. Seb makes the right play. He knows that bottom lane after that is going to get punished pretty hard. So he heads to the top side of the map. Camille pushes turrets incredibly quickly, especially with the Sheen pickup. So Pabu should get free access here. They're not going to get anything on the Cassio because Cassio doesn't want to stick around, doesn't want to have to use any summoner spells.
They're trying.
Well, there we go. He flashes on his head.
He just flashes out, so summoner for summoner.
I mean, yeah, 100% that's worth, because Jarvan has Flag Dragon as a tanky dude, whereas Cassiopeia, unfortunately, is very low mobility.
Though, well, I don't know about this one, but more importantly, this Maokai has Flash.
Yep.
And if Cassio walks up, if she positions at all aggressively, this Maokai's going to flash root the Cassio, and going to follow up with an Orioles, and she's going to die.
Now turret's going to fall, so it's a 2-for-1 trade in favor of TM, putting them 3,000 gold in lead over Abyss.
Have to see where TM push next. Looks like they're sending their bot duo top to try and take the top outer. Interesting decision. They haven't taken any neutrals, so they controlled the bot side of the map, but they elected not to go for the dragon. I mean, it is Cloud. TP in the bot lane, though.
Yeah, big. That is a strange TP.
Oh, it's me, Camille.
They just want tempo here.
I think the Kalista was freezing top, potentially.
Okay.
And I think that maybe she was freezing top. Pabu sees it and immediately TP's bot to try and take the tower. They're going to get pretty close to it here, but Maokai is on his way.
TM will have 4 members down here. Praedyth committing to the fight to kick things off. Jumps in. Raid is going to be able to get good chip damage, but this turret doesn't fall in the first wave. Galio, Maokai, and Orianna on their way down.
Yeah, exactly right. So now they'll be able to defend. No one going towards the top lane to try and stop low. So it will be a 4v5. If the turret falls...
Cassio's not coming, though.
Raid, very low range, though, so difficult for him to siege this up, and he does back off. So Abyss settle for chip damage on bottom lane outer, and they blow a teleport to do just that.
Abyss are committing to a play they thought they saw, or sorry, rather, they saw a play and didn't commit. They thought they had an opportunity. Kalista was freezing top. They had TP, but they don't commit to the 4v5 dive. They don't commit to taking the tower. Pabu's sitting here trying to make a gank happen. I think Shock is just going to farm. He's not under tower, so this is, but he should live.
Pabu went in there, hook shot it out, I think.
He went to the wall and showed.
And that was really bad. And the reason that was so bad, not Pabu trying to gank, but the TP, the reason it turned out so bad is that they just let low build a wave and then shove it into tower and no one went to pick it up. So that's just farm denied on the side of Abyss, and it only sets them further behind.
Yeah, top lane's now going to push back eventually as the TM side. They'll pick up a big wave of farm for themselves.
And the other danger now is that when Abyss finally do go top to try and push this wave out, TM are going to have TP advantage.
Yeah, exactly
so
right.
If this Sivir, she can never push out. This Rift Herald should be TM's, which they're doing now. Then they're going to go top and probably look at top tower, and Camille's not going to be able to TP up if there's a team fight, so Abyss are probably going to have to sack that too.
Just one big play from Abyss, and suddenly things have swung heavily in TM's favour.
Yeah, and every now and again, when you have a look at League of Legends, you have to look at like ease of execution on the comps, and like what does TM's comp do? I mean, everyone rushes in there. Rage, unfortunately, you have no mana and you're probably dead.
Actually survives
No
somehow.
flash.
Meow. That's scary. That is so scary.
The noise it makes when it hits the creeps. It's like ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, but what I was saying is the ease of execution for TM is they've got lanes that are very easy to push out. They have, you know, Kalista, who's pretty good at starting up objectives with a couple of tanky guys to be able to tank them for her.
Yep.
And then you have a look at what Abyss need, and they have, like, if people are diving onto raid and Cassiopeia's in the right position and Rosie's there, then they can look for disengage. They can look for a lot of medium range damage. But one slip up and one of your carries die, all of a sudden you're not going to win this team fight against all the tanky members. And Parbu's champion is way more difficult to execute in a 5v5 team fight, especially at this stage of the game. So I really do think that for this window, Abyss have to let the game come to them. They can't really make any proactive moves.
Rift Herald has been used by TM top side of the map. That's going to take down top lane outer turret.
These have like a weird sort of 1-3-1 comp where they have Camille into Jarvan, which Camille wins. Camille, we saw a solo kill, should be able to get pressure. And then you also have the Cassiopeia, who you can also put in the side lane. Ori doesn't want to go to the side. She will die in the side lane against Cass. So you kind of have this makeshift 1-3-1 where you have Janna Sivir, who can sit mid lane and clear waves forever. But because the Cassio's fallen behind, she doesn't want to go to the side lane until she has more farm. Their comp is sort of falling apart because TM, like you said, very easy to just press R, run forwards, and flash root or flash ult or flash taunt from the Galio. Not much counterplay there. So, yeah, ease of execution.
And I want to see how it eventuates in this game, because once again, we'll get into a position where if Luch, you know, just stalls it out for a little bit longer, if he gets his next item, maybe towards something like a Banshee's Veil, he feels a little bit more confident going into the side lane, maybe when his Ghost is back available as well, then this game can turn around and it can be very hard to, you know, hard engage onto Janna Gragas because they've got such good disengage tools. But in saying that, I mean, if they make a mistake before that stage, Baron's going to come up on the map in 10 seconds, and they will be able to just turn onto a TM Gaming and be able to pick up whatever they want as soon as, you know, that first little mistake comes through out of Abyss, because they've already made one this game, committing so hard on that bottom lane turret. Can't really afford to make a second.
However, Abyss, they've stopped the bleeding for now. They're only 3,000 gold behind, and that's not increasing too drastically at any point in this game.
All the easy turrets are gone.
They've put Ori in the side lane, but you can see that she's not willing to push any further.
I mean, they did trade 3 for 2 in turrets eventually. There's a Galio coming into the bottom lane. Forces a flash out of Parbu.
Well, you take the flash, but Galio ult being down does mean that TM should play. Will be on the defensive probably for a little bit. You can see that Abyss immediately trying to walk into the river to take some control back. Seb gets blasted for his troubles.
Warmogs versus Knight's Vow. When do you build which one? Why?
Okay, so Warmogs you only really see on Cho'Gath and Sejuani. The reason for that is Sejuani has resistances in her passive. So when you build Warmogs, the first burst you take, you have resistances anyway, and that extra health just gives you more value. It also allows you, obviously, the passive is really, really good. Allows you to get in and out of combat a lot. So that's why it's built on Sedge, I think. I mean, I haven't asked Ambition, but I think.
Just ask him, mate. Drop him a text. Hey, mate, what's up?
Alternatively, Cho'Gath. It's pretty self-explanatory.
The ultimate.
His ultimate and his E both scale with health. Wait, no, his E is the opponent's health, sorry. But the ultimate scales with health, and so extra health is just good to have. And you get the Gargoyle Stone Plate Warmogs combo, where you double your health immediately, and all of a sudden your Feast does 1.2k true damage.
Ooh. Hello, Prey have actually been locked down here. There is a Maokai coming. He flashes away as soon as it's down, and now it's Parbu who might be in a bit of a sticky...
Flash.
situation. The rest of Abyss there are collapsing top side of the map. Siva's just running it straight down the lane. Shock, gonna get flashed on, but knocked away. Seb, questionable.
Well, I like the idea,
Yep.
and I like the commit. I think that was a good
They're
move.
committing though. TM now trying to turn this one around. Teleport's coming in towards the Baron pit. Pabu's teleporting in as well. Throws out Tegan. Will lock down Ray.
Oh,
Good
no.
spell shield. And the uppercut completely whiffs.
Goon!
That was a
What's he
big
doing?
wind up and a big fail as well.
Yeah.
Siva didn't spell shield that whole time.
There's-
He could have just let go at any stage, and he just held it to the very end.
Still
goes
going.
Raiden.
Maokai's got a massive flank as well here.
Flag
Ori
drag
ult
into
is up.
Cataclysm. Raiders just
Oh
stuck in the pit.
my.
Big Maokai ultimate.
That
We'll
is-
see the cast hit and try to return some damage, but Low is perfectly fine. Luke is going to
Okay.
fall. Double kill picked up by Kalista, and they're still going. Seb and Rosie back against the wall, but Pabu is split pushing.
Luce just cucked us
Oh.
so hard.
Big.
We were
taunt
going to see,
flash.
Ori still has an ult. We were going to see the biggest wombo. 3-man Maokai ult was going to be a Maokai root, followed up by an Ori huge wombo. Instead, Luch hits a big Cassio ult. Shock doesn't get to wombo, and I was very disappointed though to see it.
But still, they pick up the 3 kills. They've forced everyone else back. You can see that Pabu has definitely committed to this split push, and it will be the Baron going over. And this is, you know, one of the big win conditions. When you got a Deathfall comp versus a 1-3-1, Baron is the equalizer, because all of a sudden you can't push into Baron creeps, and they're just going to turret dive you over and over again with their gold lead.
I mean, it was up the turret.
Yep.
And only wants to try and steal this, but Tegan has held him up. Ultimate coming
Can't
out
get
from him. He gets in the pit, but he can't steal the Baron away. Now he is going to fall for his troubles.
That was desperate by Seb. I don't think it's realistic to try and steal versus Kalista, but he's tried it anyway. I mean, they're not as far behind as TM were last game, but that was a very desperate play.
Certainly was. Let's have a look at this. So this was Abyss trying to capitalize on 2 members showing bottom lane, but great teleport comes in from Praetor. He's got a big flank.
Pabu cancelled.
And you can, yeah, certainly did. And you can see the Maokai, how far around he's walked, so only can get good positioning. Actually, W's to the...
What an Ori ult this would have been.
Yeah, that would have been
Instead-
huge. That's the bummer moment. Hits both the carries, but the tanks still
Super
just
tough.
kill everyone. And yeah, this is what, I guess, 3 tanks on a lineup look like. They just inevitably march towards you and just hold you in place while the carries pummel you.
Yep. Not much. I mean, they have the Janna disengage. Didn't matter at all. They just have so much frontline, so much engage. I really like this Kalista Galio combo, especially with the Maokai. It just seems like TM's team comp, if they were, as soon as they're ahead, it's not possible. Like, it's not possible for them to lose a team fight.
Yep.
Even if they mis-executed everything, which Tegan kind of did, it doesn't matter because their comp is just so strong and so, dare I say, brain dead that once you're ahead, it's so difficult to lose.
They've just got so many people that can start it off as well. And then once
Yeah.
that first piece of CC lands, it's so much easier to layer everything
Yeah,
else on
yeah,
top of
absolutely.
it. And you saw the range in which Maokai's ultimate now comes in, giving a gap closer to T-Gun. Praetor can fly in from a screen and a half away as well. It's just, it's a cool comp to see. If it's behind, it would have looked really bad, but now
Yeah.
that it's ahead,
Yeah.
it looks like genius.
Yeah.
TM are now 5,500 gold in the lead here. Ultimate
Look
coming
at
out from Maokai. Camille's not in this fight. Pabu does have
Rosie.
teleport, but already knocked off the Nexus. Luch wanted to charge forward, but didn't get enough damage down. That's an inhibitor turret falling as well as the inhibitor. Pabu, though, is on the inhibitor in the top lane.
I mean, talk about,
Okay.
you know, Gragas ultimates used to be able to force people off turrets.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Maokai is, like, legitimately new Gragas in that regard.
Yep, I was going to say that. It used to be that, oh wait, they're turning.
Yeah, Praetor flag drags his way back in. Raid in trouble. It's going to be a Galio ultimate
They need
thrown
to kill
out, but
someone
this
here.
has given Abyss enough time to take down top lane inhibitor.
Yep.
He's still going as well,
He's
Fizz.
going for the base.
He's squashing this gold lead. I mean,
Abyss-
it's only 4K now.
They just stopped some recalls, so Pabu does have time to do this.
There's
Shock
no
is
way.
already back to base, though, and Jarvan
Baron
is here.
recall.
He's
Baron
got to try and get
recall.
out now. The rest of the team are going to slowly chase him down, but he's okay. But this Camille
Okay.
split push has worked out.
Yes, I suppose it has. The gold lead was, I think, 6K just before,
Yep.
and he managed to shrink that down to 4. TM, the smart thing to do here is to use their Baron to push up through the open inhib lane, so they're dealing with the supers and applying pressure. Because they have the Baron, they can do that. But I don't think there's much left on it as I look at Maokai's Baron buff, and there's probably like 10 seconds.
Bottom lane inhibitor turret is almost full. Camille already split pushed that one down to next to nothing. If he heads down there, Pabu will have an easy job.
No, because Praetor can hold very easy. He's got supers on his side. It's going to be difficult for Pabu to put pressure on there for a while.
His teleport is coming back up shortly. TM do march down mid lane though, and no defense being organized by their squad, despite Kalista and Orianna not being there.
So, Camille pretty good at dealing with supers with the true damage.
Yep. Not to mention the fact that Gorn Ravenous and not Titanic, so going to be able to, you know, spam out and push very, very quickly. One of the things about super creeps is that they hurt you back. So if you're a Titanic user, sometimes you fall like deceptively low.
Yeah.
However, with a Ravenous, he's going to be able to heal that up. He'll probably duck into Krugs when he gets down there as well. A little bit of a goblin and steal those away. But this is a dangerous territory now for both teams.
There goes Maokai, throws out the ultimate.
That covers 2 turrets.
That's so
you
scary.
You actually can't defend. If you're at risk of dying, if you're at risk of getting dove, if the other team is tanky enough to dive you, you actually can't defend.
Yep.
Praetor's been relegated to Super Duty. Jarvan not so great at killing supers. His passive does do a lot of damage on the first one, but you can see that it takes him a little while to kill it.
Hit the minion, Jarvan. Kill it.
Whereas Camille is
A little bit better.
a little bit better.
Yeah. We'll get it eventually.
Both of them have to expend mana to do this as well. I mean, it's the little tiny things, but maybe, you know, that means that you rock up to a team fight, you only have enough for one combo, or maybe something goes a little bit wrong. We saw that last game when Luch had to, unfortunately, put so much damage into the Baron buff as the Syndra that he wasn't able to get multiple spell rotations out. So this game feels like it's a little bit closer than it should necessarily be.
I think we're about to see a big team fight. We've got 3 item spikes on both Orianna and Kalista.
Yep.
Only now has the Warmog Stoneplate combo, so he's going to be incredibly tanky as well. I think this is the time that TM pushes for a game-winning team fight. Could be a dive, could just be that they continue to siege with this Maokai ult like we've been seeing. But yeah, TM very strong right now.
They're pushing into the super minions, top side of the map.
Yep.
Final inner turret is
Praetor's
remaining
sick
there.
of dealing with them fish, so he sends up the Orianna and the Kalista. So they do it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Tag, I'll go mid lane, you can
Are
have
we
this
gonna
one.
see Maokai ult?
Raid, almost getting locked down there, but no one decides to commit. Tiga's going to take some damage, but the rest of the team just batter away at this turret.
Wave's dead. That's one thing Sifra is good for. See whether they try to defend. Doesn't look like it. Looks like they're going to let all their outers fall and try and hold the base. Baron is in 1 minute. TM can decide to just set up the Baron instead. That's probably the safe thing to do.
Yep.
So looks like they're going to do one final reset before looking to do Baron and end the game.
Pressure now on Praetor, however, because this is going to be a situation where Pabu will stay bottom lane, and then Praetor is going to have to defend this turret. And if he dies, it's probably going to be double inhibitor going over, because he's going to take down that turret and that inhibitor, and then he'll run through the base and take down top again when it respawns. Praetor has to be able to play this well enough where he shoves out the wave the way he's doing, backs off into Fog of War, and looks for his TP play around Baron, because Baron is a big play for TM Gaming. They really don't want to be stuck in this 1-4 for any longer than they absolutely have to be.
That being said, though, I think that most of the pressure is actually on Pabu.
Yep.
Right? Praetor's job is don't
Much
die.
easier, yeah.
Don't die.
Don't die,
Sit
teleport to fight.
Sit bot, please don't die.
Pabu's job
it's
is-
a lot easier to not die than what Pabu has to do, which is win. Like he
He has to win the
one-
game.
He has to one-man win the game. He needs to solo kill this Jarvan. He needs to push the wave in. He needs to take bot tower and the inhib. Bot tower's got its health back. Base towers regen health over time, unlike the other towers. So the bot tower eventually is going to be full. So not only does he need to solo kill, not only does he need to take the tower and the inhib, he's probably going to have to pressure the Nexus towers as well, because while he's doing all that, TM are going to be doing this Baron.
Yep.
Pabu's sitting on a lot of gold as well. He's yet to go back to base in quite some time. He wanted to, but he did not start the recall. And
Yep, there he goes.
TM have started on this Baron. Let's see if they can take it down. They're going to try and initiate here. 4-on-4 to kick things off. No teleports from either top lane, and that's an initiation coming out from Only. They lock down Raid. He flashes away and heals out. Good damage. Low in trouble. Raid bring back Galio. And Luch goes forward. Big double stun. Shuts down Shock. Low is too low to get back into this fight. Tiga's in trouble. And Camille's taking an inhibitor in the bottom lane.
Yeah, so what happened is Praetor actually backed away to look for his teleport fish, and now he just might die.
He's getting locked down by the Camille. Fops the Cataclysm himself. He's seen a big fight
Liz.
in the bottom lane. Liz with a sliver of health, and Abyss pull the trigger on Baron.
This actually might be game
flash.
fish.
Oh goodness, they're going to be able to try and take it down. He's on top of low, getting quick
Wait,
damage.
dude.
Shut down. What
Oh
the heck?
my
Pabu,
gosh.
3-on-1, gets a kill.
You said his job was going to be hard, but somehow the young boy from Melbourne rises to the occasion. Pabu absolutely styling on TM's backline there. Able to pick up the kill. Now he'll recall. He'll teleport back with his team, and with 35 seconds left on low, that just might be game.
That is actually insane. I cannot believe I just watched that. Luch coming up huge. Seb as well. Massive barrel. Back line of TM got absolutely obliterated there, even with all their
they're
items.
not going for it.
Nope.
Pabu's deciding not to TP.
I can not believe it, to quote...
Okay. Well, here's the thing.
They pulled all the gold lead back, so now they're going to go back and spend it.
Here's the thing. They all have a lot of gold, I'm sure. They just got a bunch of shutdowns and the Baron. So I'm sure that they all have between 1.5 and 2.5k gold. Yes, Kalista is still dead, but this Orianna is still extremely strong.
Yep.
Right? Yeah, they won a team fight, but TM is still ahead. So paying their respect, probably the safe thing to do, probably the smart thing to do, I would say. They have
Just been
2
roasted
inhibs
on the
down.
desk. Shut up, you idiot.
They have 2 inhibs down. Pabu has Baron. He's going to put pressure on now. Jarvan obviously can't match him. Jarvan hasn't a flash anymore to get away. So this is, I mean, we summed it up. I said it was going to be hard, but they managed to do it.
And this is the part of the game where you actually enjoy playing Sivir. Sivir for the first 30 minutes of the game, Fish. Miserable champion to play.
Can I get your rendition of the Sivir auto attacks again? You were doing that.
But yeah,
We do that on camera,
What you
not
guys are
just the
missing at
audio.
home is he's doing the little wrist action that Sivir does when she autos.
but yeah, there is a certain point at the game where you go into a team fight, you start like winding up, start autoing, and nothing happens.
Yeah.
And then you pick up these 3 items, and
Yeah.
you hit a Maokai, and somehow you kill a Kalista. Like, that is the legitimate
very
way
good
that Sivir works at this stage of the game.
Oh boy, she has 3 crit items as well. It's going to be pretty scary. Rosie adding on to that with an Ardent Sensor as well as a Redemption picked up already.
Yep. Okay, so the thing here is the saving grace for TM is they still have Maokai, Ori, Galio. They still have this huge wombo. Maokai is still very tanky. He hasn't died yet this game. Orianna can still one-shot with a ult into QW.
Yep, and this is where the split push starts to fall off for Abyss because they've already done their job by taking down inhibitors top and bottom. The 4-man siege mid lane can be easily dealt with by TM.
Is Pabu about to pick himself up a Death Stance?
Looks like it.
Or maybe a Maul? I would prefer to see a
He's
Maul.
going in though. He's trying to kill his Jarvan.
Yeah, jumps
Looks like
on
he
it.
didn't connect with a hook shot.
Ray needs to try and jump in and get some
But,
chip shots on this turret.
Yeah, this is
That's
the prickly part of the game for Abyss, right? You just spent the whole game, you spent 30 minutes losing, you just get back in control, you've got 2 inhibs down, you really want to pressure, but they have to respect that TM are still strong. They've been strong all game. Just because they're now on the front foot doesn't mean that they're just going to wipe them in a team fight. TM still have Wombo, and they need to navigate the base and the next few minutes very carefully.
And as we said, both of their carries have 500 range.
Oh
So
my
you
goodness.
can't walk up and hit this turret. You need to start walking super creeps in. They've done it. Bottom lane is in as well as top. But this
Okay,
is
spell
maybe
shield
the
down.
game where
Super minions on the base. They got to back off, and that was really scary from low, hopping straight into auto attack range of Raid there.
yeah, you get 2 crits to the face. You get Radiant, like when Radiant played against Lloyd, unfortunately. You take the 3 crits to the face, you die, Fish.
And the problem here is that their only real proactive engage is Jarvan, and he's tied up in the side lane. Right?
Baron
Maokai ult is not fast enough to
Yeah.
just engage immediately. Yes, he can flash forwards, but Sivir has Spell Shield, Janna has ult, and Cassiopeia has Banshee's Veil. They need Jarvan to start this fight off, but he's busy in the side lane dealing with his Camille. So it's a question of whether or not Praetor can find an opportunity, or whether Pabu can put it on enough pressure for Abyss to break the base now that they don't have Baron.
So Abyss are able to break mid lane inhibitor turret, and the inhibitor still stands. Super Minions have done some work to these Nexus turrets, both of them at half health, and they're continuing to batter away.
Pabu just did like, I don't know how much damage it was, but there was like 4 bars of true damage to Jarvan.
And there you go. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, Ray just walked up and hit T-Gun, and Shock all of a sudden is like, I'm going to struggle to access this fight. Maokai probably has to take my ball in. I'm not going to be able to...
Seb's looking for E-Flash on Shock. I think watch Seb here. I think he might go.
See if he does.
No, that chicken out. All right, they're leaving. Not sure what for.
Bottom lane does
is
respawn. They've got a
respawned.
big
Okay.
wave there.
Okay. This
With a
is
super
not
minion.
as good as before. I mean, it does put more space between them and Camille, which means Camille is a bit more free. She's now hitting the mid inhib, but grouping
collapsing onto
is
her.
not ideal here.
Oof.
This is an opportunity right now for TM.
Yeah, this is where 1-3-1
Yep.
split push
Yep.
comps become very, very difficult to execute, right?
Okay, and then they run away very fast.
Raid hits on, and it's like, see,
Yep.
mate. We're good to go. That's a ghost down from Shock. Harbour in some trouble. Sets up the arena against Praetor and jumps out.
Okay, that's Praetor's ult down.
Ooh, Seb going in. This is dangerous. This is very dangerous for Abyss.
Maokai ult's coming.
Yeah,
There you go.
Flash. All right, Cassio's dead.
Yeah, Kitty Cats are coming. Luch is in so much trouble. They will lock down Seb, but TM get some breathing room for themselves.
And look at how difficult it is for Abyss to do absolutely anything, Fish. I mean, a 1-3-1 comp eventually has to group up at the Nexus, unless you win off like one of those really sick pushes. So you can see that right now, Pabu, unfortunately, he was 2v1ing continually. The Jarvan's a little bit tankier now. And it's got his Randuin's Omen, which is going to help. It was a death stance, by the way. No idea why he's got that item.
Only using Kitson around with these Maokai ults. Get off.
I like it.
Get
like
off
it.
the broker.
I like it. I
Watching
appreciate it.
#IamOPL on a cat today.
Yep, that's a good tweet. I'm going to find that one.
Appreciate it.
I'm very sad.
What is interesting, or one of the funny things about Maokai, though, is that he can gank top lane and ult bot lane at the same time.
Can
Right? Well, just then.
Oh, yeah. I guess that's true.
He tried to root the Camille, then they pushed up the bot lane because Maokai wasn't there. Maokai turned around and just ulted all the way down the lane and they had to back up.
What does he do now when he throws out the ultimate? He doesn't clap anymore, so
I
what
think he
is
just
it?
punches the ground or something. Maokai's really big on punching. If you watch him, his Q is a big punch. If you watch him auto attack, it's literally just punches. Like, you think about this, like this tree ant, this mage, like, oh, it's a magical tree and vengeful maelstrom, all that shit. And then you literally watch him auto attack and he's just punching you in the face. It's literally just getting punched in the face.
So he's the Floyd Mayweather of the team at the moment.
Well, Floyd doesn't do so much punching. He does a lot of running. Seb taking a bit of damage here.
Yeah, that's a lot of
He's in
spears
trouble.
thrown into the Gragas. Low is going to keep throwing them in, chucks them out. Will heal up quite a bit
Ooh,
though.
here we
Raid
go.
though, trying to turn this around, throws out the ultimate, and see mate, I'm
Tegan
out.
with the ultimate bait just runs at him, Raid ults and kites away, and then
Pablo
Low
there.
pulls him out.
Pabu in trouble here. He's 2-on-1, pops down the ultimate, has to flash hook shot away.
Yeah, but this is dangerous because that's the jungler, Fish.
Baron.
If you're only, you don't want to be on that part of the map.
This is
They
a
did it very
Sivir
fast.
Cassio on Baron. Seb's very
Mouse
low.
Drake.
They're going to try and commit. Teleport is coming
Go on,
in. It's
Bob.
down very low. Gets picked up. Seb has the body. Oh no,
Oh, he
Seb!
failed it.
Seb! No! What have you done? Absolute disaster for the jungler. He's
come
still
on,
alive, but he's going to
Sebastian.
fall.
Praetor's looking for more.
Trying to
because
stop the
he's-
recalls. Here we go.
Pabu's pushing.
Mooch gets
Maokai
good
got back.
damage. He flags and drags away. Ooh, good damage. TM.
No flash on Pabu, so they might be able to
They're
punch
running
him
all the way.
down.
Pabu will be able to
He
take
is
down one
Camille, though,
inhibitor
so
turret.
stuff that.
Hookshot just quite like flag and drag in the way that, for whatever reasons, the way that, like Tristana rocket jump,
The way it's
anything
coded.
interrupts it.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you get hit by a gust of wind and honestly, you don't go anywhere as Tristana. Sometimes you end up where you took off on the jump.
Yeah, it's like Kate Net.
Yeah,
Kate
but-
Net never works. But yeah, it's weird, and I'm not sure how they decide which spells should have priority over which, but like Gragas E is another example. It's almost impossible to break Gragas' E.
Yeah. Here we
But
go.
yeah.
This is a bold call. I mean, with
I
an
like it.
inhibitor down, they start up the Drake. They've only got one Ocean, but it's a good denial because the jungler is dead.
Well, they have Callista to secure, and also this objective is close to bot lane. And
that's
so it
fine.
means that Praetor could push up the bot supers and then join the fight if there was one. Whereas Baron, big distance, has to TP, and that's what he lost the inhib for.
Yep, so Elder Dragon picked up by TM. Now we give them some breathing room. Baron buff about
It's going to make Callisto real annoying. Elder Drake is, as far as burn damage.
Ooh, Praetor forcing it. Galio's coming as well. Ultimate pop by Raid. He flashes out at the Galio charge. Praetor in some trouble, taking good damage from Raid. Maokai's joining the fight, takes 2 crits to the face, and he's quite low, but heals up from his passive. Shock gets that first kill. Big force by TM.
Yeah, so both of them obviously give you combat, but Elder Drake for an auto attack based champion like Callista is so much more potent. Every single time you hit that auto attack, you get the extra true damage burn going on. And maybe because of crit, Callista falls off a little bit late game. She has that ramp up time she's needed, but this will help her out a lot.
She's also very short range. That's Callista's 2 problems. She's not a big builder of crit. She'll never build IE, even though she might build Zeal items.
TM?
But she's also very short range, which makes it very easy for someone like Sivir, who, if she gets a rapid fire cannon, doesn't look like she will because she's going with the QSS.
TM have to be very careful here because they sent 3 members to try and charge mid lane inhibitor turret, and Shock was down bottom lane protecting Praetor. Uh-oh, here comes Tegan. Tosses him out, looks for the taunt.
She's going to flash and raid. She does have flash, but yes, she has a QSS and a spell shield now, so
And a Banshee's V on Lush as well.
it's not going to work. But I think what we're seeing now is the draft.
Yep.
Abyss have drafted for like the split push 1-3-1, which we were talking about. They fell behind. They managed to pull it back, but even though they pulled it back, I said this probably 10 minutes ago about how prickly a situation they were in, that they were trying to push mid while pushing the sides, and it's very difficult against TM's comp. TM have drafted almost exactly what the meta prescribes,
Yep.
and it looks like Abyss won't be able to finish this game unless TM get caught.
But at the same time, I mean, TM's comp is so reliant around having those big ultimates, that big ability to start a fight, that if you use, 2 or 3 of them and you only grab the 1 kill as they did that time around, they weren't confident enough to be able to push up the lane because they thought Pabu might still sneak their base from underneath their nose. So looks like TM getting a little bit jittery. They're looking for that one big team fight, 2, 3, 4 members falling down where they can close this one out because they've put in the hard work. You would hate to get a team fighting comp to 42 minutes and not win this game. That would really damage the team's confidence.
I don't want to see the Goon's face if they lose this game.
No.
Please, if you're listening, production, do not put cameras on the Goon if he loses this game because I will cry.
Well, Sivir is approaching your favourite win condition, Spawn. 550 CS Sivir.
Yeah. He's got 422, has yet to sell his boots, Fish.
So 55 minutes in the game.
When he gets rid of those boots and picks up a Phantom Dancer, he will legitimately 1v5 this game.
I reckon he needs to drop this QSS.
Really?
I reckon he needs the second Zeal. He needs the rapid fire.
Yeah, but that's
Getting
where
that rapid fire W auto attack is huge. He has Spell Shield and the Janna. Like, yes, they have a lot of CC. Yes, QSS is very good, but I don't feel like Abyss right now needs something.
Yep.
They need something to get them over the edge.
They need some
and
damage.
It might be just a big balls play by Raid.
Yep.
He just walks forwards, rapid fire, auto W reset, gets a big crit across the team, and they win a team fight off that.
They can play it safe though, because Prelif is never going to be able to go toe-to-toe against Pabu anymore.
I mean, it does get harder, right? Because he's going to get tankier and tankier and tankier. And the map's going to shrink.
Praedyth has been, I mean, he has a Warden's Mail. I guess he could complete that. But Praedyth has been essentially full build for like a good 15 minutes now. And yes, he is picking up these inhibs here and there, but it hasn't looked yet like they were going to break anything, right? TM haven't looked like they were in danger of losing a game, losing the game. Like, yeah, she gets a little bit chip there, a little bit of chip here, but like, Jarvan he just gets to a point where he can live for long enough that Camille can't kill him and he can get to base and heal before Camille can do any real damage.
Exactly.
Let's see if that's the case, because Abyss is still trying to pull him across the map so they can take control over the Baron Pit. That's going to be up in a minute 30.
I think the real thing Pabu's doing here, and we talked about it before, is that the Jarvan is so crucial to the team comp, and the longer he keeps in bottom lane, the better off it is. I mean, the 4v4 team fight looks way better than the 5v5 team fight if you're Abyss Esports right now. You do not want Jarvan to have an early TP and access to your backline, because as 500 range carries are not good in the late game. That's just the general rule of thumb.
This is with Agragas and Janna in the 4 for Abyss as well. 2 great disengage ultimates.
Yep. So that's a Merc Scimitar picked up. So he's completed build right now, Ray. Callista's been there for a while. Cheaper item build, though, not having to go IE as well as
that's true.
Sorry, not Merc Scimitar. What's the other one?
Essence Reaver.
Essence Reaver. Thank you. Wow, the pro player got it before me. Normally, pro players don't know names of abilities or items at all.
Oh yeah. That is. I'm not very good. I say a lot of Ori Q.
Yeah.
I don't say dissonance. Is it dissonance? No, it's command attack.
Command attack. Yes, this is a W.
There you go. There you go. But yeah, look. Just looking at the items across the board, pretty much everyone is full builds. We
got to talk about Cassiopeia maybe. Cassio doesn't have to pick up boots.
Oh, hang on. Okay, we're Pabu's no flash.
Yeah, Shock was down
Maybe
at the
gets a bit
bottom
of
lane.
pressure from Praedyth in the split push now.
Yeah, they've pushed it up to the river, so that's like at least 2 creep waves that he has to shove in.
And here's the other problem, is that Abyss don't really have engage in their 4. Like, yes, their team fight is better, but they only have Gragas combo and yes, they have Sivir, that's true. They can just run at you. But like TM's 4, like it's a very robust 4. Like, there's not much room for Abyss to be aggressive in the 4v4.
This is a Callista Baron. They've got to try and kick things off. Shock's bottom lane.
Yeah, there's 2 people bot.
Let's see what they do.
Okay.
They've got to go. TM have to try and stop this fight. Abyss charge on forward. It's a 3-on-4. Tegan leads the fight but gets pulled out by Low. Great play there. Parbu's going to get taken down shortly after. Shock will take that kill, but Abyss
Raiden
charged
has
towards
TP.
Baron.
Yeah, exactly right. They have to start this up. This is a desperation call.
They're going on to low. He gets knocked into
It's
a
a
wall,
wall.
though, not into the team. He gets exhausted. Is he going to take it down? He does. Ray gets that kill. Big slam from T-Gun, but is it going to be enough? Luch getting so much damage into the front lines. Raid's auto-attacking away. Praetor now slides on in, and Shock is making his way to the fight. Misses his shockwave. Good flash coming out from Raid. And Abyss looking to try front to back this one. Shock is very low. Can't find a way to re-enter the fight. Cataclysm being used, as well as the Flying Drag to get Praetor back to safety.
But that should be the Baron fish. They still are continuing to chase. I don't know if this is the right call. 40 seconds left on the 80 carry of low. Means that they could look to end the game. And that's what they're going for. They're not stuffing around anymore. They're like, this is our chance to win.
I mean, at least 3 inhibitors will be taken down by Abyss here.
You got to think about the TP there for Praetor. That was all the way at the golems. If you guys look at the golems, where that blue ward is, that's where he TP'd to. There was a plethora of wards elsewhere, I believe. I mean, I could be wrong, but took him and Ori way too long to get to the fight. I mean, they're not going for the end. They're going for the triple inhib. They're going to try and take Baron, or double inhib. They're going to try and do Baron afterwards.
They've got to be careful. TM could just rush over.
This is so back and forth. I mean, if that shockwave hits, Raid dies. All of a sudden now this team fight, he doesn't have flash. Luch doesn't have flash or ghost, so the execution becomes much easier. And yes, you've taken the inhibs and the creeps are going to be pushing into your base, but TM will ignore it. They will go for the Baron fight still, and they're going to look for another 5v5.
Parbu's bottom lane, though. He
Yeah.
has teleport.
He's been there the whole bloody game.
Praetor does not have teleport, which was my point.
Yeah, I don't think Praetor cares. I think they're just going to look for it.
Let's
Parbu
see.
has TP advantage, and he could TP here. This is... Oh, okay. Well, they're throwing caution to the wind.
It's a quick Baron.
This
They've
is
got
a
good
fast
spears
Baron.
in it. Here they go. Abyss now pull the trigger,
They're
but
trying-
it's going to be a force and burn coming out from TM.
they
They
got
want this Baron buff. That should be taken out low as so many spears into it. Smite picked up by the Maokai. Abyss, though, still looking for this fight. There's the Sivir ultimate trying to disengage to
Parbu
start.
TPing.
Luch going in. Big ultimate by Shock only connects with Luch. Sam's in the back lines.
Ooh.
Low almost gets obliterated. Boomerang's not enough, but there's Parbu.
Oh,
He's
what
on top of
lift
Oriana. Good damage straight onto the
Everyone.
Shockwave machine himself. Shut down by Parbu. The Goon himself gets killed for the double, and Parbu's streaming towards the rest of the back line.
Yeah, exactly right. Parbu was able to get the snipe onto Shock. So without the control mage dead, a lot of the wave clear gone. Even with a Baron buff, this is going to be an impossible defense.
Let's see what they do. Raid is the main form of damage here. Luch still up as well. There's Praetor.
Oh,
Jumping straight on top of him.
no.
Ultimate for Rosie
big
doesn't
play.
keep him alive. Only Luch left to deal damage, but
this could be
Parbu
though.
right on top of him. Slaps him with his knife knees. Gets the kill. Praetor's the next one to fall. Abyss have done it. Somehow, they've come back into game number 2 after TM led the majority of this match. They take down TM 2-0.
And what has T-Gun got to do to buy a win at the moment? I mean, that was such a long, drawn-out game, but ultimately the split-pushing pressure just boiled over and became too much.
Sivir does so much damage in the late game.
Oh, yeah.
It's not touched on much. Sivir's actually a hyper carry.
AoE crit. Every single
counts-
champion we've ever given AoE crit to
Yeah.
has been broken.
Yeah, she's a hyper carry in the late game. You saw in those team fights, there was no big like, oh, CC hit, oh, massive Cassio ult, oh, like, there was no big wombo that ever came out from Abyss. It was just every team fight, somehow they managed to get on top. And I think if you go back and look at the damage, there's a lot of ricochets.
Yeah, certainly agree with that. And also, you got to appreciate that Raid was playing pretty defensively when he had to, but when it was the time to go in, that last team fight, he charged low. I mean, he ignored T-Gun, ran past him to crit the 80 carry on the other team, on the TM lineup. So, I mean, that's what you got to do to be a Sivir player. You have to be willing to run past tanks sometimes to hit the backline.
That was TM's game to win as well.
gotta-
5,000 gold up.
You got to feel for him. If you're a
Oh,
TM player,
100%.
what do you got to do to win a game? I mean,
Yeah.
they played the early so well. They had the Baron, they had all the pressure, and just out of nowhere, they lose a 4v4 fight. That was just...
That's a heartbreaker. I mean, that's
Yeah.
as a fan where you got to get on social media and actually support your team because they would be
That's
really feeling that one.
That's one of those games where you got to come on the desk the next day as T-Gun and you pray no one asks you
You pray Michael
about how the
Higgins.
game the day before went.
You pray Michael Higgins doesn't open up with a straight up roast to
Yeah, how did
T-Gun.
you go yesterday, T-Gun? And he's just crying, just tears, croc big tears. No, sorry, I'm going too far.
Well, let's send this one back to the analyst desk to break down that match further.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Well, I will say that there were some shots being fired over there towards me on the desk, like I'm some sort of bully here, and I refute that. But let's talk about this game. Abyss, too strong for TM, taking this series 2-0. And they're right, it's heartbreaking for TM. If you're a team fan, tweet at your team, let them know you're supporting them, because they were up and that game got away from them, Destiny.
Where do I begin? Poor T-Gun. Send that man some tweets. Give that man some support.
Because he played so well.
well.
So well. Like,
How many taunts has he?
like it's
brutal.
brutal. Like we can say it's a heartbreaker. That is probably the biggest. Just the fact that T-Gun played that well made it that much worse for me. And it's so sad. They played so well that game.
Yeah, that was TM's game to win, and they threw it away. And Abyss just punished them for it.
Yeah, Abyss. Well, I mean, we shouldn't just talk about how TM kind of flopped a bit. We should also talk about how Abyss were able to, I guess, take opportunities when they came. Destiny. So, I mean, let's start by talking about this draft, shall we? Because I feel like TM again had such an advantage coming out of the draft.
Yeah, I actually think TM's draft was really smart. They had a lot of tanks. They had the Maokai, the Galio, and they just wombo comboed with the Orianna and the Jarvan, and then they play front to back. Kallista's got that utility, chuck Galio in, hit that 5-man taunt, and it's just a very good comp. And yeah, it was sad to see that they didn't execute it.
Yeah, I mean, I really like their drafts. They blind picked Sivir, which I thought was so stupid, and then they left Kalista open. You could see how they utilized the Kalista and the Galio flex as well. TM utilized that pick really well.
All right, well, standing by with Sarian right now is Pabu from the Victorious Abyss. So let's throw it over to her right now for the interview.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Pabu after that 2-0 win over TM. Firstly, congratulations.
Thank you.
Does it feel like the team's finally starting to come together and find their feet going into the second half of this split?
I mean, the first game was better early, but the second game was an awful game. That was not a good game for us to win. It was really tough. I'm quite proud of the boys for holding it together and actually pulling out the win, even though we were in one of the worst situations we've been in a while. But it was not a good showing out of us, I think.
I wanted to touch on that second game because it started off not going in your favour, but you were able to turn it around. Can you talk to us about how you were able to come out with the win?
Well, we essentially just thought to ourselves, we can still play to our win conditions, no matter how far ahead they got. As long as we could hold out, we had so much wave clear in our comp that we could stall out the game until it gets to a point where the Camille just wins in the split push. And then eventually we just managed to get to that point, and a couple clutch team fights allowed us to pull it out. But yeah, it was very rough for us.
And coming out of that win, what are the goals for Abyss for the rest of the split?
Well, I think we need to, looking at these games in particular, in the first game, early was clean, but then we made a couple of blunders that were really messy and threw us into it was a bit of a mishap. And for this game, we just need to, so it shows that we can keep our focus, but we need to work this on actual gameplay and execution side.
Well, congratulations once again, Pabu, and thanks for chatting to us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sarian. Thank you, Pabu. Congratulations to him. And we did talk a lot about Pabu going into this game. What do you think of his performance today, Destiny?
Yeah, I actually think Pabu played really well. We got a solo kill in the top lane, and I think he was very humble in that interview. I think he realized what their mistakes were, and obviously he's looking forward to fix that. And yeah, I feel like he's got a really good growth mindset. And moving into the future, I think Pabu is definitely a player to watch. Would you agree?
Yeah, Pabu, first split in OPL.
First full split, yeah.
Yeah.
He debuted last split, but he only played a couple of games.
Yeah, like he's 17, fresh out of high school. Like this guy
still in high school.
Still in high school.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like this. What's in store? You know, like the guy solo killed Praedyth, and they were both mechanical gods, and you can just see like he's so humble at such a young age. There's a lot going on for him.
Yeah, he completely outplayed them in the bottom inhib, and he just constantly split pushed the entire game, and yeah, he 1v3'd. He played phenomenally.
So we're talking about Pabu as an individual, but Abyss as a full team, Choo-Choos. I mean, what do you think of their team play overall?
Okay, so Abyss are a good team. Like they've been showing that they've been getting a lot better. But this specific dive is actually a 3v5. They know that Orianna's mid, and Camille has walked through their bot side jungle, so they know Maokai's not near. Anyway, they end up starting the dive a bit early. Galio gets a massive ultimate here. Low manages to kite really nicely on against Pabu. Praedyth comes in with a TP, and now, only now, you can see Orianna and Maokai making their way down. So to me, the rest of the replay plays out. T-Gun whiffs his Kalista ult, gets a nice knock up into a big taunt, and then we can see the Maokai ult coming in here, and then Shock coming up to pick up a double kill, I believe. But it really just shows how uncoordinated. You have to be very uncoordinated to not successfully pull off a 3v5 dive. And they rotated so very late. They didn't opt to push in mid tower. They made the decision to rotate down, and it really, it's kind of disappointing to see, because I felt like Abyss were really starting to show like a real uprising, but that dive just was very messy, and it was fortunate for them that it didn't cost them the game.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it was very sloppy. The mid wave wasn't pushed, the wave wasn't there, and they couldn't 100-0 the Kalista, so obviously it wouldn't work out. And then TM did a good job on punishing that, and that should have been the game in my opinion.
Well, from TM, we've seen like, I guess, a kind of playstyle they're trying to do now with this kind of wombo thing. We saw a lot of priority put on Galio, a lot of priority put on Jarvan. I mean, and now in this game too with the Maokai as well for TM. I mean, what did you think about them and their ability to execute this comp?
Yeah, looking at this comp, I feel like for a long-term stance, I think they're aiming for that and playing to the meta with the team fight composition. As you can see here, in the top right, where the pink ward was placed, Pabu actually cancelled his TP, which I disagree with, because now it's a 5v4. They've got Maokai on the flank coming in the top jungle. Jarvan hits a beautiful two-man equalizer combo here, and this is where they play their front to back. Galio gets in a beautiful Maokai ult that hits 3 of them, and then Low just cleans up, and there's nothing that Abyss can do here. It's just a complete... They just played to their comp perfectly here, and this play just highlighted how well the draft went for them.
And Galio didn't even need to use his ult.
Yeah, he didn't even need to use the hero's entrance there. He didn't need the damage reduction because it was just a 5v4.
Massive 3-man taunt.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bloody T-Goon.
Yeah.
What a monster.
Playing out of his mind today. But I feel like the turning point for this game then was, I guess, Pabu's split push on Camille. Choo-choos. And in particular, being able to get away from those team fights, having Abyss just stall them while he just takes inhibitors.
Yeah, I mean, it's like what Pabu said. They knew just to wave clear and try and stall this game out till Camille was too much of a menace for Jarvan to deal with. This replay, they're starting off the Baron. I like to highlight that Shock and Low both have flash up, and we can see that they're beginning to turn. T-Gun gets a massive three-man taunt, a great barrel by Seb, but you can just see that this is essentially 2 split fights. Luch hits a good Cassio ult here, but there was no follow-up damage. Both carries from TM have their flash up, and it just makes you question as to if they use those flashes earlier on, would they have secured that team fight a lot earlier when T-Gun hits that massive engage?
You're back on your early flash soapbox.
Yeah, I am. I mean, yeah, it really hurt them this game because I think Low died 3-4 times with his flash up, and Shock as well. He had there was I think the final team fight where Sivir, not the final, the second last team fight where Sivir was rooted by Maokai, and all he had to do was flash QW to kill the Sivir, but he didn't do that.
Yeah, I think Shock had a pretty bad game. He never hit the shockwaves that were needed. The communication, like the first game, wasn't there with the Galio, the 3-man taunt, and it just didn't look like they were on the same page. I disagreed with the Sivir, the blind pick Sivir, because he gets countered by Kalista and Caitlyn in lane. But it got to the point where this game was late game, and then Sivir outscales the Kalista, because she just builds full crit items, and then the Ricochet, she can kill tanks with the Janna, because Janna's very strong in this patch with Ardent Sensor.
So do you think then with this return of Sivir, we saw it last night, you guys were playing it, we saw it tonight as well. I mean, is Sivir going to be back as priority pick in this meta, or is it just like, you know, we're afraid we're going to lose lane, we'll just pick it?
Yeah, I think Sivir's more of a counter pick. I see it as a counter pick to Tristana, because whenever she tries to use her explosive shot, she can just use a spell shield, get free mana, and push her in. And then they just play to scale and use the on the hunt to engage and play with the tanks. And that's what she does well. And as you saw in that infograph, Luch really did outperform and outshone Shock that game. Would you agree?
No, I wouldn't agree with that. I think both mid laners had relatively poor performances. I think Luch hit some game-winning ultimates, but I think both mid laners kind of got shut down by like Gragas from Seb shut down Orianna, and then Maokai shut down Cassiopeia. So I thought both of them had relatively average games, but I wanted to praise both the junglers of this game.
So but going into this, I mean, I guess we thought that that mid lane was a potential skill mismatch, right? You have Luch rank 1 solo queue,
Yeah.
pretty often, but he just had a bad day today against Shock, who had an equally poor day.
Well, you could see in the early stages of that lane and the casters, you could see how well Luch was
Oh,
trading
Luch was
against
just
this guy.
chipping
Like,
him away.
yeah, like it was
Luch just
painful.
walking into auto.
As a mid laner, it's so hard. Like, it's so painful. Watching the level 1 made me cry because it just showed how he didn't understand this matchup.
Yeah.
And
And it's not like Orianna Cassio is like a rare matchup, right? You're going to come
No,
into that a lot. You've played that matchup before.
that's been a meta for a while now. And yeah, you just saw Shock took E level 1, tried to trade with autos at level 1, but obviously Cassiopeia essentially has has 2 auto attacks if you count the E as another auto attack essentially. But yeah, it just made me question if Shock he obviously doesn't have enough experience in this matchup, but you have to think, like, it's so late into the season, like week 7 now. Going into the gauntlet, if they make it to the gauntlet, does he need to practice these matchups more?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think that Luch early game was really good, but then when it got to the end of the laning phase, he got 3-man mid, and it was pretty obvious. Like, everyone was pretty much missing on the map, and then even though Shock misplayed, it still worked, the 3-man dive mid, and I think that sort of shut down Luch, but in the team fights, he brought it back. So I do agree that Luch didn't play that good, but I still feel like he did what he needed to do in the team fights. He hit the ults and he got the stuns off, and that ult and Baron sort of turned the game for them.
Yeah.
All right, well, we have a tweet in from on hashtag IMOPL from Vex Scream. What support champ, this is, I guess for you, Destiny, is best to main when your playstyle is more aggressive or synergize as well with Caitlyn?
The best supports, if you're an aggressive player and you want to kill them, I'd recommend Thresh and Blitz. Just hook him, kill him, play him, knock him up.
Hook him, kill him, play him, knock him up.
If you're not into the hooks and you're not into the all-in, I recommend Zyra. You just push them in under the tower. You max E and you just snare them, and then Caitlyn can put the trap under it, and then bam, they just die. I do recommend taking Ignite. And go on probuilds.net. That is your best friend. Check out the runes and masteries.
Do your builds ever get put up on probuilds.net?
I'm not a professional.
Oh, okay, all right.
Really?
According to them, I'm not.
I get put on.
It's brutal. That's brutal. Chuchus, do you have an opinion on that? Things you like?
I don't even play.
Wait, your builds get put up?
Yeah.
I'm outclassed by a media manager.
Someone at probuilds.net on Twitter.
I'm still relevant.
All right. Well, it appears that Abyss were too strong for TM today. That wraps up our first series. But do not go now, because after these hearts, we're back with our second match of the day. Avantgarde taking on Chiefs.
Slides on back in, and the Maokai is throwing out the cats. Chase them down, kitty cats. Rain's going to get locked down. Rosie's rooted as well, and Only is still firing away. Shockwave is huge from Shock as he gets one onto Rosie, and this game has turned into an absolute disaster for Abyss.
Still going. Maokai's got a massive flank as well here.
Like Dragons and Cataclysm, Raid is just stuck in the pit. Big Maokai ultimate. We'll see the cast hip and try to return some damage, but Low is perfectly fine. Luch is going to fall. Double kill picked up by Kalista, and they're still going. They lock down Raid. He flashes away and heals out. Good damage. Low in trouble. Raid bring back Galio. Luch goes forward. Big double stun. Shuts down Shock. Low is too low to get back into this fight. Tiga's in trouble, and Camille's taking an inhibitor in the bottom lane. Luch going in. Big ultimate by Shock. Only connects with Luch. Sam's in the back lines. Low almost gets obliterated. Boomerang's not enough, but there's Pabu. He's on top of Orianna. Good damage straight onto the Shockwave machine himself. Shut down by Pabu. The Goon himself gets killed for the double, and Pabu's streaming towards the rest of the back line. Yeah, there's Brayden. Jumping straight on top of him. Ultimate for Rosie doesn't keep him alive. Only Luch left to deal damage, but Pabu right on top of him. Slumps him with his knife knees. Gets the kill. Brayden's the next one to fall. Abyss have done it. Somehow, they've come back into game number 2 after TM led the majority of this match. They take down TM 2-0.
Whilst an OPL game lasts about 30 minutes, it's generally won from a series of plays that only last a few. Hi guys, I'm Jake Spawn Tiberi, and welcome to the War Room. Coming into Split 2, we had a ton of changes. One of the biggest was Rift Herald. Seen as a free future turret, it also creates a new area on the map in which to fight, and a potential way to rip open a game. In Week 4 of the OPL, Sin Gaming showed just how much you can achieve with Summoner's Rift, newest Monster of the Void. Let's take a look at the play. Sin set up at mid lane outer, with Juves looking for an aggressive flank in the Raptor pit. Notice how Abyss's AD carry and top laner, Raid and Parbu, are currently in side lanes, trying to push out their waves. With this information, Rogue drops the Herald. And just as it charges towards the turret, engages with a Quickness Flash combo, guaranteeing Rakan's knockup. Doppler and Juice layer their CC perfectly, grabbing a quick double kill onto Abyss's Seb and Luch. With the wave cleared dead, Sin are able to grab 3 turrets and an inhibitor, tearing open the heart of this game. This is an awesome display of what a coordinated, decisive strike, coupled with Rift Herald, can achieve on Summoner's Rift, and how much of an advantage they can pick up. This play netted Sin a 5,000 gold advantage and catapulted them to a 31-minute victory. That's it for the War Room. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you next week.